Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today is Judgment Day. What happened in my small claim suit against Uber yesterday? Stick around and I will tell you a lot of stuff. I'll be right back. Hey everybody, thank you for sticking around. Thank you so much for staying with me on this journey with this small claim suit. I can't say, I don't want to drop the bomb just yet. But I do want to say that the information in the videos prior to what the outcome was yesterday were correct. I did everything right. I got my day in court. I had everything set up. Uber sent me a package I received it on Monday, and it was their exhibits, what they were going to use. And basically what they sent me was their community guidelines. They also sent I had it all here, I'm sorry, there was so much stuff, but anyway, you know what, regardless, what I want to do is I want to key in on a few things with Uber. And here's just some of the things you can see. There's a lot of stuff that's been indexed. There's 32 pages that Uber sent me, and the irony to it is a lot of the stuff they sent me was stuff that I was going to use in presenting my case. So it was almost tit for tat. But I'm going to tell you one thing in particular, and that is that Uber's guidelines are about as tight as a tick's ass. Okay, I'm going to show you. I want to show you several screenshots, but I want to start out by saying, first and foremost, I had a good day in court. I learned a lot, and I learned that Uber is dirty. I learned that they do not play fair. And, well, you know what? Check out this screenshot. The guidelines below help explain some of the specific kinds of positive community engagement on the Uber marketplace platform, as well as the behaviors or circumstances that may cause you to lose access to the Uber marketplace platform. There will always be unforeseen events that may ultimately lead to your losing access to the Uber marketplace platform and services. But the following guidelines, which we'll update regularly, provide the basis for behavior we expect from all in the Uber community. Not following any one of our guidelines can constitute a material breach or violation of the terms of your agreement. Not your terms of service, not the community guidelines, but a violation of the terms of your agreement with Uber, and may result in the loss or of access to part or all of the marketplace platform. This is some serious shit. The irony to that, though, is they deactivated me. Yet I can still get an Uber. I can still go on to Uber's passenger app and I can request an Uber. What the fuck am I going to do that for? Y'all. So anyway, I presented my case. It was a wrongful termination case, but I didn't want to give out a lot of information because I didn't, just in case, because we all know how sneaky Uber is. It was a breach of contract. That's what the lawsuit was about. It was about a breach of contract. And it was about the way they handled it. It was about their SIT team, which is the team that sits on their ass, or their special investigative team that investigates complaints. And the one I'm going to tell you, because again, the lawsuit, this particular small claim suit is over. I am going to be filing an additional lawsuit against Uber, and they are fucking garbage. The judge, when the judge in a case says, you know what, you worked for a horrible company and nobody should work for Uber. That's pretty harsh. And I had an Uber representative on the phone because their ass wouldn't send somebody down to the courthouse. They actually did it over the phone. So, but I wish I was a fly on the wall when the judge said Uber is a horrible place for someone to work for, and I can't see why anybody would work for them. Nobody should work for them. And mind you, that is a part of the minutes. That is all in the transcription of this hearing. So when a judge says, Uber, you suck, nobody should work for you, that's pretty heavy. But based on the last screenshot, the terms of your agreement also incorporate the terms of service and the community guidelines, and that is tight. What I'm going to do is tell you what I did. I said this happened. If you want to see the video, I posted a video that says Uber passenger freak out or something like that. That is the video that got me deactivated. Okay, I'll put the link down below this. This, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to be a long running video because there's a lot to say, and I'm going to try to do it so I can pause it so Uber's whatever thing they do will actually make this into categories that you can skip to. So let's start with this. Number 1. Uber drivers, don't be afraid of these companies. Make the companies afraid of you. Now, saying that is easier said than done. But under the terms that you signed on to when you signed up to drive or be a driver or independent contractor for Uber, Uber can literally, and I know this firsthand because I was just in court with them. Uber can literally terminate you for anything, and I mean anything. In my case, I brought up a breach of contract, self-defense, and the fact that Uber wrongfully deactivated me because the situation that occurred, and again, the video link is down in the description below. Self-defense. When things got heated and I said to this piece of shit who I thought was Martisha, who was the account holder. That was not the account holder, by the way. That was a third party. So we're going to cover fraud. We're going to cover fraudful use of the act. I'm sorry, it was kind of rambling there. I couldn't think about it. And a couple of other things. But what happened when she got back in the car and started cussing at me, saying, you got me all fucked up and I ain't getting out your fucking car. And I said, you need to get out of my car or I will pepper spray you. That all happened after the ride was canceled. Let me say that again. That all happened after the ride was canceled. I want you to look at this screenshot. It hasn't been cropped, but look at the dark lettering, okay? Check this out. It says at 22:36 and 18 seconds, the account holder canceled the trip. This is from Uber's community guidelines. If a passenger cancels the Uber ride in the middle of a trip, and this was a 2-stop trip, the ride is considered completed at that exact point the cancellation was requested. Let me repeat that. The ride is considered complete at the exact point the cancellation was requested. At that point, the passenger must immediately exit the vehicle when it is safe, as the contracted trip, skipped a word here, is completed and the passenger is no longer covered by Uber. Okay? So, when she started getting all stupid, bouncing around, you can see in the video, you can see me looking up in my rearview mirror, okay? The reason I'm looking up in my rearview mirror is I'm watching this person who was started to get out of the car and then returned and got back in my car and started going fucking bananas, was reaching in her purse. And she did have a taser, by the way. But unfortunately, the camera doesn't show her reaching. The camera doesn't show her at all because she's hunched over behind the seat. I'm guessing she probably knew the camera was there, because at one point in the video, earlier in the ride, you'll see her face light up with like her cell phone or something. She looked at the camera, so I'm pretty sure she knew there was a camera in the car. But I brought up, hey, you know what? She was about to get ready to get out of the car. She got back in. She says, I ain't getting out your fucking car. You got me all fucked up. Blah, 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 blah. And at that point, after driving for Uber and being shot at twice, red flags. Why is she getting back into my car? This is not something a normal person would do. A normal person would simply just get pissed off, say, you're an asshole, I'm going to report you, slam the door, walk the fuck away, okay? She didn't. That's what put my red flag up and a bunch of red flags up, and I reached down. The first time I said, you need to get out of my car. And then, after that, she said, I ain't getting out of your fucking car. And I reached down and I grabbed my pepper spray. After she said, you got me all fucked up. And I brought it to my left hand. I never pointed it at her. I never turned to face her. I never, in any way brandished it. And we're using the term brandishing as waving a weapon, whether it's a knife or a gun or pepper spray, in a threatening, angry, or I can't think of it right now. I'm sorry. Menacing manner or aggressive manner. Never happened. I kept my cool, and the judge agreed. So it was not the pepper spray. Okay. I also brought up the fact that the account holder, Martisha, whatever the hell her name is, fraudulently at that time, because Uber didn't have the family thing where you could add other people on, told the passenger, who we still don't know who she is, we don't know what her name is, anything, told the passenger, hey, just when the Uber car comes to pick you up, tell them you're me. That's fraud. It's deception, okay? I brought that up. The judge agreed. However, Uber said, no, we allow people to do that. Well, the judge didn't quite agree with that, so the case moved forward. Okay, you know what? So I'm not going to get into it too much. I want you to check out the next two screenshots. Here's number one. Daniel Fishman, litigation paralegal, Uber Technologies Incorporated. Okay? Right here. Daniel Fishman, litigation paralegal, Uber Technologies Incorporated. Okay. Now, I want you to also take a look at this screenshot. Now, I know you've seen this screenshot before, and it says you are not allowed to have a lawyer represent you at the hearing in small claims court, okay? You are not allowed to have a lawyer represent you at the hearing in small claims court. Now take a look at the next screenshot. This screenshot is California Code of Civil Procedure, okay, or Civil Procedural Code 116.540. Okay, it states in section A, except as permitted by this section, no individual other than the plaintiff and the defendant may take part in the conduct or defense of a small claims action. Now, 116.540B, this is where I shot myself in the foot and I lost, okay? Because I didn't say to the court this: except as additionally provided in subdivision I, which is irrelevant to this case, a corporation may appear and participate in a small claims action only through a regular employee, which was Daniel Fishman, or a duly appointed or elected officer or director who is employed, appointed, or elected for purposes other than solely representing the corporation in small claims court. Let me repeat that last section. Who is employed, appointed, or elected for purposes other than solely representing the corporation in small claims court. And I shot myself in the foot because I got so frustrated at the crap that Uber was putting out in the courtroom that I literally forgot that I had this sheet of paper, and it was the second to the last sheet that I had. Had I had been on my A game, I could have very simply said, Your Honor, I would like Mr. Fishman's testimony to be stricken from the record, and I would like the court to find in favor of the plaintiff, or find judgment in favor of the plaintiff, and find Mr. Daniel Fishman in violation of section 116.540B of the California Civil Code, because Mr. Fishman works in Uber's legal department. He is a litigation paralegal, okay? His sole purpose is to go to court on behalf of Uber. If I had remembered to say that, then the whole case would have been done, because they would have found, I don't know if it would have been contempt, but it would have been an illegal action against Uber because they had a legal representative whose sole purpose is legal litigation represent them in court. And that would have been it. Hands washed, walk out. So, I lost. Humble pie? Not at all. I learned a lot, and I also learned I can file another lawsuit. I can actually file two. I can file another small claims suit with the exact same information I have now. I'm not going to tell you the rest of it because unfortunately I do believe I have to wait 30 days, but I will be filing another small claims suit. I'm not done. I don't give up easily, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let some corporate giant piece of shit like Uber and their chief village idiot, Dara Khosrowshahi or Cockroach Shahi, treat me or any other drivers, whether I know you or don't, like we're slaves. Like they can do whatever they want. Now, going back to the very first screenshot, okay? Uber can terminate you for anything. You can be playing the wrong music. You can have the wrong fragrance in your car. You can fart and stink up the car. It doesn't matter. If a passenger has something to complain about, they can, according to their terms that you agree to when you first start driving for them. This has nothing to do with their arbitration, which you need to opt out of, by the way. It has nothing to do with arbitration, has nothing to do with small claims court, has nothing to do with civil claims, has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the terms that you have to agree to. That first screenshot way back in the beginning of this video is devastating to everybody, because Uber, there's no governing agency for rideshare. We all know that. Rideshare Professor, check out his channel, Torsten. He knows. And he's got a good team behind him. And trust me, Torsten and I, we go back a long way. And Torsten and I are not done. I am filing another small claim suit, or will be filing another small claim suit. But I will not be filing any demands as I did in the first small claim suit. But I'm also going to be looking at filing either a civil claim against them or a class action lawsuit against them. Either way, I definitely have one, possibly two, maybe three different ways I can go about this. How many ways am I going to go? I'm definitely going to go with the small claims again. Whether I decide to go with a civil case or a class action, I'll be discussing that with Rideshare Professor and his legal team a lot, because Uber's horrible. California is an at-will employment state, which means that you can get hired by anybody, not just Uber, but I mean a real job. And they can say, hey, you know what? Thanks for your service. We're done. And you're done. But you have the same right to say, hey, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm not going to give you 2 weeks. It's an at-will employment, and my will is done. I'm gone. However, I can't stress enough, if you are a driver for Uber. Now, again, I can't discuss Lyft because I'm not only am I still on their platform, but I started with them and I've been happy with them. I just wish they paid a little more, just like everybody else. Uber is criminal. Okay, it is criminal. Dara Khosrowshahi is a piece of shit. Uber Technologies are slave drivers, and they literally write their own laws, because again, there are no governing agencies because of Prop 22 and all this other crap. And even if AB 5 had gone through, and it's just there's so much legal bullshit that surrounds these companies, or let me just say surrounds Uber, that's why they're constantly changing rules. That's why they're constantly doing all this crap. It's because they've got to, they're getting lawsuits that we're not hearing about on television, and they're, all this other stuff, and they're trying to brush it under the rug. That's why they have arbitration. Arbitration, which I find is ironic, because arbitration is for an employer and an employee. All right? Arbitration is for an employer and an employee. But we're not employees of Uber. That's why you have an opt-out option. Because we're not employees. We're independent contractors. So if you haven't opted out, find a video on YouTube anywhere, whether you're on Lyft or Uber. You have to do it within 30 days of signing on, or 30 days of them upgrading their terms of service or community guidelines or whatever. You have 30 days to opt out of arbitration. I cannot stress enough that you need to opt out before that 30 days. Because if you don't, you can't file a class action. You can't be involved in that. You can't even file civil litigation against them. You have to go through their arbitration. And of course, their arbitration is for them. So, what did I learn yesterday? I learned that what I did as far as defending myself was just fine. I learned that a customer or an app holder on Uber can fraudulently use their account, can tell somebody else to fraudulently use their name, and Uber doesn't give a shit, and they get away with it. Even though the judge agreed in saying, well, this person did fraudulently use his account, and this person assumed somebody else's identity to get that ride. Uber didn't care. They said, this is our company, and we allow it. That was it. All based on the very first screenshot I shared with you. So, only thing I can stress is please, please, please do not make rideshare your primary source of income. Okay? I'll say it again. Please do not make rideshare your primary source of income, because sooner or later you are going to get the boot. Rideshare Professor did a video where people on Uber have been deactivated as many as 3, 4, and 5 times. Some are still working. Some aren't. 5 times? And, I mean, is that them just say, hey, guess what? You just got a 14-day, 25-day, 30-day break. However long it takes for their arbitration bullshit, it does not take 5 to 7 days. It can go on for months if they wanted to. They can drag it out as long as they want. They can drag it out to the point where you just say, fuck it, I've had it, I'm done, and just walk away from it. And they can get away with it. There are no governing agencies for these companies. They can do whatever they want. They can write whatever they want and get away with it because their terms of service, community guidelines, and terms of employment or contractual agreements as an independent contractor are not governed by the Equal Opportunity Employment Department or the Employment Development Department or anything. So yeah, they can get away with whatever they want to do. So there you have it. I lost a battle, but I didn't lose the war. I will be filing another small claim suit because now I know Uber's tricks. What are they? I can't tell you that. But I can tell you that there will be more videos to come on this. But until then, I'm just going to throw out some fun videos. Fun facts, again, on how to make the most out of rideshare, how to make the most money, and work smart, not hard, all that other stuff. I'm still going to keep my channel going, but I strongly encourage drivers to carry a dash camera, watch your ass, and you can be legally, you cannot be, because you're an independent contractor, you can't be deactivated for refusing rides. However, in the terms under Uber, they can do whatever they want. And that's exactly what the judge said to me. They can do whatever they want. You can have a 5-star rating, accept every single ride that you get, and they can let you go and terminate you, deactivate you, because you farted and a customer smelled it. Because the air freshener in your car was too strong for somebody, and they didn't like the smell. They can terminate you or let me rephrase that. They can deactivate you if you pull up in a car that the passenger, don't like. I know that sounds pretty far-fetched, but it's the truth. A driver got deactivated because he pulled up in a car that the customer thought was too small for the amount of money she was paying to get a ride. You've got to be shitting me. Uber deactivated a driver who pulled up in his own personal vehicle because it was too small. And the customer felt that he or she deserved a bigger vehicle. They didn't request a comfort vehicle. They didn't go with Select. They didn't go with an XL. They went with Uber X. Honda Civic, Prius, Corolla, maybe an Accord, whatever. You happen to drive on X. But apparently this car was too small. Passenger filed a complaint. The driver was deactivated. And he can't fight it. According to the very first screenshot, according to what the judge said yesterday, Uber is a company nobody should work for and can do whatever they want because they are not governed by the Employment Development Department, Equal Opportunity, or anybody else. They're standalone, man. They're their own fucking thing and they can do whatever they want. So that's all I got. We're a half hour deep into this. Be careful out there, drivers. No picture, don't take the ride. If the name doesn't look right, don't take the ride. I just did a video on that too. But when you do that, even though you have every single right as an independent contractor to say, I didn't take that ride because that person didn't have a picture and they're supposed to. That person used a moniker instead of or a nickname instead of their real name. Doesn't matter. That person wasn't even the account holder. The account holder was Mike and I picked up a female. Okay? Doesn't matter. You can be deactivated for any of those reasons and thousands more. Okay? Let me pick up, where's that piece of paper again? Right here. I'll read it one more time. But following the guidelines, which will update regularly, provide the basis for behavior we expect from all in the Uber community. Not following any one of our guidelines can constitute a material breach or violations in the terms of your agreement with Uber, not terms of service, not community guidelines, but your terms of your agreement with Uber and will result in the loss of access to the driver platform. But you can bet your ass that if you want to ride in an Uber, they'll take your money. So I know that rambled on a little bit. Was yesterday a loss? No, because I didn't really, I learned a lot. And I'm not going to let it beat me down. I walked away from that with a very strong knowledge of how the court system looks at these companies, how these companies manipulate the court systems and the law. And I found a couple of gray areas, which I'll share with you after my next lawsuit or my next small claim suit. So we'll have some videos in between. We'll keep the channel the way it's always been going. Thank you again for sticking around. I hope you learned something. If you do file a small claim suit, make sure that you have everything covered. I did, but I simply forgot one thing, one penal code, one civil code. And because I forgot it, and that is 100% on me, I lost. And the judge even said, is there anything that I have that will help me in this case? And I said no, because I forgot. Because if I had mentioned that, outcome would have been a lot different. I've also found others. So, and I can't tell you what they are because I will be filing again. So thank you again very much. There you have it. But we're going to move forward. We're going to do this again. And we're going to win eventually. Not just me as personally, but I hope that what I'm doing will motivate drivers to stand up against these companies. And like I said in the very beginning, don't be afraid of the companies. Make the companies be afraid of you. But please, unless you absolutely have to, do not use Rideshare as your main source of income. Because eventually, something's going to happen. And you're not going to have a backup plan. Have a backup plan. Until next time, be safe, be professional, keep it real. If you must, drive on. I wish you all the best of health. I thank you very, very much for being a part of my YouTube community, for supporting me, my family, our videos. And until next time, be safe.